Hi guys. So we're back at the office and I went ahead and decided I would make a video from the office. And here's the reason. Because what happens is, sorry, I need to turn so I can see the door. What happens is that I get home and I get really busy. And it's just best, if I want to say hi, then I go ahead and just record while I have a few minutes. So, hello, how are you doing? How's life? Yeah, probably a little close, but you have to understand. I don't have a tripod. You're sitting on our microwave that sits in our break room, which gives me direct view to the front door, so I'll know if anybody comes in. But like I have a 7 o'clock night tonight. Tomorrow's like a 7 o'clock night. Just a lot of late nights. And I thought I wanted to say hi. Guys, I had a pretty good weekend. Been working really, trying to get everything done. I know William will be in for the holiday, so he'll be actually, oh, my hair, I'm sorry. I look crazy. Wow. So he'll be here tomorrow at some point, and he will be here until Monday, and it should be a great time. I'm all about it. So, still gonna work a little bit on Wednesday. I'm off on Thursday, so I gotta go with him on a load. That's exciting. And yeah, that's it. I have a question. And I'm gonna get into this and I'll probably have to stop, and that's gonna irritate me, but oh well. How do you handle communication differences? Like, what do you do? Like, you know what you're saying, and somebody's not trying, somebody's not understanding. Like, they just can't get it. Like, what do you do? How do you fix that? How do you make it better? How does it get better? What can you do? And I ask this because so many people have differences in communication. They understand things differently, and very understandable. But with that being said, it makes communication hard. And one thing that I have learned is that William and I, it's not funny, but we communicate differently, And so I'll be talking to him or he'll be talking to me, and he's like, "You're not paying attention." I'm like, "But I am. I'm paying attention. Are you paying attention to me?" Because we communicate differently sometimes. A lot of times it's when there's not much sleep, there's a lot going on, things like that. It's not all the time, for sure. It's just, when there's basically little triggers that help with that. So, last night we were talking, and I was just like, okay, we have different ways of communication. And that's okay. Neither one of us is right, neither one of us is wrong. But what do you guys do? How do you get to the understanding that, we're just not getting it? Like, our view is different. How do you guys handle that? How do you approach it? Essentially what we did is we talked our way out of it. You know what I mean? Like, we just talked and talked and talked and talked and talked until we were like, what the hell? What are we doing? We don't argue it. We don't fight it. It's just communication, and it's a way to figure it out. So, a lot of times people give up and just walk away from that just so that they can be done with it. And I found myself trying to do that a time or two with William because he's persistent. Like, if he's having a conversation, he wants you to listen, and he wants you to pay attention, and he wants your input. Me, if I try to conversate with you and you're not listening, conversating, or having any part of it, I'm like, okay, they just don't want to conversate, right? So, how do you guys handle it? What do you do? I think one of the biggest tools that I've learned throughout the years, and I know, guys, I'm not looking very well, but I really just don't want my clients to walk in and be like, oops. But I think over the years I've learned, and maybe because of the profession that I'm in, it probably has a lot to do with it. I've learned that there are so many different ways of communication. Verbally, you watch body language. There's so many ways. Nonverbal. And the thing with it is that when you're talking on the phone, you don't have those cues. They don't have those little warnings, those ideas. You know, you just literally have the sound of someone's voice. So that becomes frustrating at times, right? So what do you do to manage that? It's hard. It's hard. But what I do know that I need to do is that I try to make myself actively aware. And he's really good because he's a guy. I'm kidding, guys. Just kidding. To repeat it, you know, like he repeats and repeats and repeats. And I'm like, okay, now I get it, you know. But it's just part of that thing that we need to work on. We need to be aware of. Communication is very vital. And, you know, especially when you're not together. You know, when he's there and I'm here, you know, a good night could sound like a good night. And I'm like, or a good morning could sound, you know, like good morning. And I'm like, are you tired? No, I'm not tired. I just woke up. Okay, you sounded like you're tired. So how do you judge that? What do you do when you're talking to your boss or your significant other or somebody else on the phone? Like, how do you think that you get that sense of their thoughts and feelings? What do you think happens with that? Why do you think it's important? Like, why do I wonder about that? Because it is very important to me. And the last thing that I want is to misunderstand or to not understand. So I'm very, very open to, you know, trying new things. But I want to know what you guys do. Second part of this. So, God, I feel so weird. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry. So the second part of this would be, you know, just in general, the way that we perceive things, you know. And again, somebody could say your hair looks nice and you can perceive that as a great thank you. Or you can say, why did they say that? We weren't even talking about it, you know. What made them think of that? Like, you can switch that thinking around. So the perception of the conversation is also important and to be understood. And if your perception is twisted, then the other person might say something. And that's okay. Let them. Because it engages into a different conversation. So, also difference in the way kids communicate versus the way adults communicate, of course. Like, I have one client that she can't even right now talk to her family about how she feels because she doesn't want to hurt feelings. So I had her write stuff down for me, right? And she can't even write down how she's feeling. Like, she can tell me, but she can't tell her family verbally. She can't write it down because, again, she's too worried about how they'll feel about it, you know, their perception. So it's hard. So just keep your audience in mind. Who is hearing you? What are they saying? What is the purpose? What is the, you know, and it might not have any of those, but just keep your audience in mind. Because that's important, you know. I can't talk to my mom the same way I would talk to my kids out at work. You just can't do it because they're not on the same level. And hell, I can't talk to William the way that I talk to, I don't know, my mom, you know? Only because him and I have different conversations, different levels there. And that's inevitably to be understood, right? So yeah, communication is very key and critical. And something that you might want to dive into deeper because it can make or break relationships. It can. I'm lucky because I do have somebody that loves to talk and is willing to communicate and wants to learn and is willing to share his thoughts and opinions. You know, he does all of that so well. And not really problems with that. Now, our conversations can be really in depth and they can be long and it's going to get dark in here, but I just feel weird not looking out the main window. But yeah, they can be in depth and they can take forever, but it's okay because in hindsight, It helps us. But clients are here, so thank you guys. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be back. Bye.